Welcome once again to Breakfast Central. Now let's dive straight into the newspapers this morning, share with you the big stories making headlines. We're going to be kicking off on the Nation newspapers this morning. And right there on your screen says their agreement with organized labor to cost federal government 2 trillion naira. 81,100 workers likely to miss 35,000 naira wage award. How VAT cuts on diesel will affect the economy. Interesting. Mobad, police detain Naira Marley. It continues to, for me, just look like, a reality TV show. They're joking with it. Also, US Speaker McCarthy removed. We might see new updates concerning that in the next couple of days, concerning the war in Ukraine. And also, Senate bars new members from top post. Diphtheria, FCT, 18 states may bring back face mask use. And also, UK and US to partner federal government on marine and blue economy. We can also find on the Nation newspapers this morning of very many big stories. Tinubu certificate in order. The CSU deposes in court. Yeah, it's the Nation newspaper, so you know what to expect. Our former student, now Nigeria's president. Organizer, 5.5 billion naira spent on Big Brother Nigeria All Stars and Waila Ilibaye won. Impeachment, Ondo Assembly directs, who's this now? CJ to raise panel on deputy governor. Not very many big stories once again on the Nation. But these are the stories that we can share. At this time, we're going to move away from the Nation and see what's on the daily independent newspapers.
All right, on the daily independent newspaper this morning, we have reps to probe 15.5 trillion naira pension assets and 10 trillion naira advanced to federal government. Urge government to stop killing of peasant farmers across Nigeria. Ask IGP to secure release of abducted corps members in Zamfara. DMO offers 150 billion naira Sukuk bond for subscription at 1,000 naira per unit. Again, Ondo Assembly asks CJ to raise impeachment panel against deputy governor. And we have here petitions NJC over Federal High Court restraining order on page 7. First-time senators barred from vying for Senate president and deputy positions. Why? Why do? Why are they barring first-time senators from, I don't know. Anyway. Tinubu replaces El Rufai with Lawal as Kaduna ministerial nominee. Commends EFCC unfolds more robust agenda. Tinubu's CSU release record shows owned by female. Speak up on Tinubu certificate scandal, Soyinka told. Do you think that Soyinka will say anything about it?
I can't predict, but it's up to him, to decide if he. I mean, it's not like his voice is going to change anything. He's yes, Nobel laureate and everything, but I don't think he is the most important voice in this situation. Whoever is asking him to speak up is really just trying to, satisfy themselves, by the hearing Wole Soyinka saying whatever he has to say. He's either going to condemn or he's going to, I don't know. He has also been very, very vocal about the other candidates, Sly, and so people. That's why people are asking. So now that this is being unraveled, what are your thoughts? Why are you quiet? Are you going to demand, the resignation of the president, or you're going to unlook? And so yeah, but it's not like the Supreme Court is where everyone should be focused on, and see where they would lead us.
All right, Naira Marley is now in police custody. According to the reports on page 6, it said that he announced his arrival in Nigeria, his arrival in Lagos, stating that he will now proceed to help with the investigation so that he can do this, because this is what he needs to do for Imole. Our negotiation with federal government at preliminary stage, says NLC. NLC. How many times did we call you? Federal government asks diphtheria-impacted states to make face mask compulsory, declares Kano as epicenter of the disease. That's what we have on the Daily Independent. Let's move to the next paper.
But just to also quickly mention, the disparity or the difference between the way the story was reported on the Nation and how it's been reported on the Daily Independent.
Exactly. Very different. One says...
so on the Nation, it says Tinubu certificate in order. CSU deposes in court. Goes on to say our former student, now Nigeria's president. Hilarious. The Daily Independent says Tinubu CSU release record shows it was owned by a female. Speak up on Tinubu certificate scandal, Shoyinka told. So it's totally different narratives that have been shared by these two papers. Let's see what the next paper has and see, if they would tell the story different. Hurdles for federal government 2024 budget, over 10 trillion naira deficit and palliatives. Interesting. 2022 federal government budget implementation report. We can also see here expenditure 810 billion, debt servicing 5.65 trillion, recurrent expenditure 5.03 trillion. Just a couple of details here and there. Federal government total expenditure 14.63 trillion. Fiscal deficit 9.3 trillion naira. It's shocking. And of course, revenue total receipt from federal from FAC 3.6 trillion naira. It's not looking good for the Nigerian economy, and I'm not sure what the plan would be if we're going to continue to borrow to fund Nigeria's budget, or we have some other ways that we the current Nigerian government plans to raise money to fund this budget without borrowing. In what ways can we reduce, once again, the stealing of Nigeria's crude? In what ways can we maybe figure out, how to increase, persons who are earning enough, so that they can be, made part of the tax bracket? In what ways can we also make more money from solid minerals or other, resources?
Yeah.
I feel, like there's a lot of money being stolen from different MDAs and different, aspects of Nigeria's economy.
In what ways can we cut governance?
Yeah, yes, there's also that, in what ways can we cut government expenditure? But Nigeria can definitely afford, if we are a serious country and we block all these leakages, I'm certain that we can afford to fund ourselves as a country without necessarily having to borrow. But if we do not see that concrete moves are being made to, ensure that these things are done, then we would continue to borrow. And of course, cost of living continue to increase. The dollar, of course, is at 1,000. And that's not, looking good at all. Anyway, Tinubu nominates Balarabe to replace El Rufai and two others. Lawmakers bar first time members from Senate presidency, and also 2 children critically injured. Pregnant woman tricyclist die in Lagos auto crash. Apparently happened, if it's the same one, happened around the Agor Palace yesterday. The allegations are that police vehicle was chasing, suspects, allegedly, and then, ran into the tricyclist, and these persons were very, very badly affected. These are the big stories on the Guardian newspapers this morning. I think the major conversation in Nigeria today has to be
CSU.
Chicago State University, deposition and what it means concerning President Bola Tinubu's certificate. And once again, questions as to his foundation, his early days, the schools that he, claims to have gone to, and many other questions that are being raised.
All right.
From the Guardian?
Yes, let's head to the Guardian. We've taken the Nation newspaper already. All right. Okay, I think that will be all. But yes, like we've seen, it's very interesting in the way that in which this was reported. Tinubu certificate in order, CSU deposes in court, and then the other paper had a different header. I think that it's a very interesting conversation to have. And back to when we asked our guest, Mr. Okechukwu Osita, to answer the question. I think that the people of Nigeria, of course, see here, Tinubu CSU released record shows owned by female. People are confused. From the moment that these certificates and these records were released to Atiku's lawyers, and we saw the details on the internet, people were confused. Too many confusions, too many unclear areas. And I don't think that it's out of order for Nigerians to be asking and demanding clarity. I don't think that it's out of order.
No, definitely not.
It's certainly also not out of order for Nigerians to want somebody who has integrity to say that, oh, this is where I went to and I was right. I did not lie when I said I went to this place. Okay. We're not talking about, oh, you must have academic excellence, or you must, whilst that is also important, I think that's another factor we should consider in the nearest future, but that's not the yardstick for determining someone who's very bright and who will do a great job of leadership. But one of the things, one of the presidential candidates said something that, he gave a quote that never left me. For you to be regarded as my excellency, the procedure for your announcement or for your election or your swearing in has to be excellent. Yeah. So I think that that's something that was, and it's not just with him. I hope that that's something that the rest of us can take as feedback whatever
Absolutely.
you're doing, just
And
try
once
your best to
again,
be excellent.
increase, find ways to increase the quality of persons that take those seats. But anyway.